Hey guys! So my name is Katie Johnson. That is still really weird for me to say, but I'm very excited about it. If you know me, you know that I just recently got married, and James and I are doing great, and we're excited about what's coming up, which is our honeymoon. I wanted to start something new, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is make vlog videos. Many of you probably know that I like to sing, and I put videos up all the time like that, but I've been wanting to do this kind of thing for a while, and there really is no time like the present in my life because so many exciting things have been happening. But without further ado, let's get into what I want to talk about today, and that is planning a trip to Europe.
It's alright before I turn to nothing.
I have been watching a lot of videos lately, travel hacks and things like that, and they've been so useful. So I'm hoping that from that and my own experience, something from this video might be helpful to you. I'm going to specifically be talking about our trip to Ireland and Italy. My first piece of advice when it comes to budgeting is actually to ask yourself the question, what is most important to me? Or if it's a couple or friends or whatever, what is most important to us? What do we want to see? Everyone travels differently. Do you want to go on a luxurious romantic vacation? Do you want to backpack through Europe, go adventuring through the wilderness, or do you want to hit all the touristy spots? There are totally different ways that you can look at traveling, and especially if you're in a group, this is a really big thing that I've heard. Make sure you're on the same page of where you want to go, what kind of things you want to see. But anyway, that all goes and fits into your budget, because if you do want those specific things and you're a very hard yes on one of them, then that's going to change what your budget looks like. Second piece of the budgeting planning is take a look on Google and type in the average cost of living in that location. One really helpful thing to do in this case is also look up how much does the average breakfast, lunch, and dinner cost, how much does the average hotel or hostel cost, and where you're going. This is really going to give you a good idea if you know that you're going to be spending $50 or $150 a night. That's also going to help you figure out, whoa, I cannot afford going here, but let's try here. So tip number 2 is on booking your flights. I have used 2 flight apps, way more than any of the other ones that I've heard of, and I really highly recommend. The first one, by far, Skyscanner. Skyscanner.com is amazing, and all you have to do is type in where you're starting, and you can literally pick your location from there. What I mean by that is you can type in, hey, I'm coming from New York City, and in the to section, you can just leave that blank, and it will search everywhere in the world and find all the flights at the specific date that you are leaving for your trip. And what this meant for us was we can find the cheapest place and have an amazing time right there. Let's see what that was. And for James and I, it happened to be Ireland. I also wanted to mention Google Travel. Google Travel is so nice to see. The reason I say that is you can just type in Google flight from New York to Dublin. You can see on every single day of the week for the entire month how much it would be to actually fly on that day instead. So this could change or alter when you're gonna actually leave for your trip, and maybe it's $100 cheaper to leave on Wednesday instead of leaving on Saturday. It's a really awesome tool, and this was great for just the planning process. We picked leaving on a Monday and we're coming back on a Wednesday, and that just worked great for us. My third tip is actually going to be a little bit further into the planning process. Google Maps, My Map. You can actually create your own map based on the locations that you want to see. So first you can create a layer that's just your destinations. Literally just dream it up. You can list 50 if you want. You don't have to actually see those things. But if you want to just be no, these are exactly where I want to go, this is the trip I want to do. Once you create that layer and you have all of your destinations plotted out, then you can just create another layer and say, make directions and take me through all those places. And it will do its best, but you can move around okay, A, B, C, D instead of A, B, C, D, and make the trip the most worthwhile and convenient for you. It's really helpful to visually see it on a map and see if you can really manage that. Some of the best and hardest things that I've had to figure out along the way was I can't fit everything into this one day that I'm spending in this town, or you can't manage to travel 4 hours this way, 5 hours this way, and hit all of these amazing locations because they're on the different parts of the island or different parts of the country. And what's great is as you continue planning, you can keep adding oh, this is the hostel we're staying at, let's put that on our map, and then you can actually just route your entire trip on Google Maps. So do that and use that on your trip. My fourth tip actually goes along really well with the last one of Google Maps, and that is to really just pull from your friends and your family. Use social media for what it's good at, especially if you know you have a lot of friends that are like you and would have more experience and some really good advice to say. Everyone in the world is on Google, and everyone in the world has their own definitions of what a fun time is. I found it really helpful to just ask my few friends that I know went to these locations, private message them. They gave me full itineraries. It's been so amazing. You think like, oh, that's so obvious to ask people, but sometimes in the planning process you get so caught up and you think, I have to figure all of this out. But really other people want to help and they're excited to help. I am making this video for that exact reason, because I'm already excited about this trip we're going to go on, and I just want other people to be able to benefit from that too, and hopefully have an amazing trip of their own. A reason that ties really well into the Google Maps section is anytime someone said go here, I just loaded it into that map on my maps, and I just said another destination, another destination. So that's a really cool tool to be able to say like, oh, you know what, we're spending an extra day in this place. What can we do? What's around? And you can have your options that you already know, that your friends have already said, this is amazing. If you can manage to go, do it. So that was a really big thing for me. The fifth tip that I want to give you is actually the apps to get on your phone once you're a little bit further in the planning process. We're gonna play it a little bit by ear in terms of where we're staying every night. And the reason is we have these awesome apps. And the first one that I'm gonna say is Hostel World. I've heard so many amazing things, people raving about the hostels in Europe. A lot of places will have in their description how far they are from the airport, how far they are from this place or that. And I think it's probably gonna end up being something that we use like day of kind of thing. Like, okay, we really love this city instead. Why don't we stay here and then we'll move on in a few days or something. So if you're anything like us and you want to kind of play some things by ear, that's a really cool tool. Similar to that, of course, you know, Airbnb is a really popular thing as well. I've heard awesome things about that, so I think we'll probably look into using Airbnb as well. If we had a little bit more time, I would probably look more into couch surfing. I just could see that being something I would really love to do because I love people and culture, and that would be really nice. But again, we have our locations and priorities of what we want to do and the amount of time that we have, so that's not realistic for us right now, but maybe if we had like a month of travel time, that would be something that I would definitely look into. My last tip is actually another app that I just got today, and I was like, why have I not done this yet? It's called TripIt, that actually links to your email. So keep in mind, if you're planning a trip with friends or another person, it might be easier to just have one person do all the booking or forward them all to one email. The way that TripIt works is you connect it and sync it with one of your emails. It finds all of your trip itineraries that are in there, whether it's flights, bookings, car rentals, and it puts them all on this itinerary for you. So even if it's a multi-city, multi-country travel, you can see it one after the other, and it's like the most amazing thing for a type A person like me. The last thing I'll share that's very similar to TripIt but not TripIt is my own version of it. I created just a Google Sheets. It became the most important part of my planning process. So I would really recommend, if you aren't really sure what you're doing, to just throw all your ideas on something like this Google Sheet and just see how you can make it work, and use those other tools to just visualize it and make the most of your trip. When you look at it, it's really understandable and organized to see, and if you make changes, I just was able to easily move it, delete it, change it, and that was a really helpful tool for me. I think that that's all that I have for you today. I hope that that was useful. I hope there are a few things that you can benefit from, and most importantly, I hope you have an awesome trip to wherever you're going. If that's Europe, I'm as excited as you are. Definitely tune in next time. My next video will probably be about the honeymoon, who knows, but look forward to making more of these, and yeah, that's all for now. Bye guys.